It's just like there's someone like my family has asked me, hey, you should get into politics. I said, oh hell no, there's no way I'm getting into politics. It's just that's that's a complete waste.
If I got into politics, like if I ever got elected or whatever into the presidency or something like that, I guarantee you I'd be on the assassination list in a heartbeat, because I'd be doing everything in my power to just shut government down completely, to get it
You'd be
completely out of our
reporting,
lives and
calling people
literally
out.
eliminate it.
Yeah. So what you guys want to talk about today? Lots of stuff in the news.
God, there's so much interesting stuff to talk about. I loved that post that you put out this morning. I love some of the things you've been talking about with, it's like you were saying, what kind of pandemic makes the world population get bigger?
That's just a simple question, right?
Yeah, it's literally, I mean, we are truly in the age of insanity. People, it's like, for me, I go out to the grocery store every now and again. I really hate going out in public now. I can't stand all the people wearing their petri dishes. It's driving me crazy. And I just go out every now and again when I have to, for whatever.
Yeah, well, we should talk about that outlook and that mentality, right? Because I agree with you, JJ, that we're living in some times that it's like we're in the land of zombies, or we're in the land of the non-thinkers, or whatever you call it, right? um, and so it can be very difficult. And how do we operate, how do we keep our sanity in an insane world?
Yeah.
you know
By being crazy. That's how I do it. It's like I'm crazy. That's what keeps me from going insane. Like the old Waylon Jennings song, and it's like, there's just so much good stuff going on out there, and unfortunately, everybody's focused on all the bad stuff.
True. That's
And
the game of
I'm trying to focus on the
illusion.
good stuff that's going on, and it's like I've been studying this stuff that's going on for 28 years of my life now,
Mhm.
and there's nothing new under the sun. It's all the same thing that's going on, really. The only thing new is Kangen water. Yeah.
That's old, right? It's new, but it's old in the sense that it's water. It's been here since the beginning of time. you know
Yeah. There's an interesting thing. I remember reading an article a long, long time ago in the New American Magazine. I wish I still had access to this article, but I remember the headline on the magazine. The headline was, "The Heavens Declare the Handiwork of God." And it was an absolutely fascinating article. And one thing it pointed out that I've always been intrigued by
Mhm.
is it said water is like the only, or maybe one of, there might be other substances on this planet. I'm not sure what they are, if there are, but water is is like the only substance that when it freezes, it expands.
Yes, that's true.
And if it were not for that one simple fact, life on Earth would not exist.
That's true.
And this article goes through to talk about all kinds of other things that literally declare, the more the scientists of the world try to disprove the existence of God, the more they find him. And
That,
it's
yeah,
and that's basically what the article was about. But that one thing right there, water, if it wasn't for the fact that it expands, all the lakes and rivers would freeze, and in the wintertime everybody would die. Everything would die because we wouldn't have any water to drink.
mhm.
And because of the fact that it expands, it floats, and we still have water even in the coldest of temperatures.
Mhm.
So it's fascinating. And I absolutely love talking with you about water. You know, it's just as much fun as talking to the numerator about numbers. You
Mm.
know, he's so good at putting out numbers. And, you know, yesterday's show where he busted out the old Kangen Culture TV that he and Liz are putting together. What an
Yeah.
awesome, awesome resource that's going to be for us to be able to utilize to help people understand what this is all about. And, you know, so we just have such an amazing little family of people here, brother. It's so great having you here. I'm you know, like I said in the post this morning, I always look forward to the first Wednesday of the month because my brother Sam's coming in the house and we get to talk, we get to have a little laugh, we get to, you know, talk about some serious stuff and you know, make a little light on the world. And so it's always great having you here, brother. And
Just just want to, obviously, JJ, how long have you been involved with the Magic here?
um, it'll be it'll be 4 years this March. I believe it was March 17th when I got my
Okay.
machine.
Yeah, it's about the same. I think I'm 4.5 years or something like that. Maybe coming up on 5 years here. Um, but this project is to me the holy grail of science, because as a researcher, as a scientist, I was trying to find something that would um, help people when they're sick, and then this actually helps them before they're sick and even after they're sick. So this has to do with homeostasis. This has to do with detoxing the body. It has to do with every chemical reaction in the body. pH is essential for life, and that's why this is working. Electricity is life, right? You've read that book by Dr. Shinya, the enzyme factor.
You know, I haven't read that book yet. I need to get that and read it actually.
Yeah, there's in that book. I love the way he writes, because he talks about common sense things, right? Um, he says, like, if you look at our teeth structure, like if paleontologists, they study fossils in rock and things like that, they look at the teeth of fossils, and they could determine what their diet was based on the teeth structure, right? And so if you look at humans, we're most of our teeth, 85% of our teeth are designed to eat vegetables, and 15% our canines are designed to eat meat. And so the design purpose of that is to help us get through winter, right? Unless we want to hibernate like bears, right? And so it's very logical how he looks at the human body, right? And so for me, looking at water, it's just very logical. It's very straightforward that, of course, it's water. Of course, water is the answer we've been waiting for, because it actually is life. There is absolutely nothing that exists without water, and people forget that. People, they come out with their Coca-Cola or their sports drink, and they're on that for a few decades, and they end up dying of cancer, or they get diabetes, and there's no substitute for water, right? And so it's fundamental. But Dr. Shinya's book, he talked about five flows, five rivers in the body, right? A river has flow, right? Things that move. So the
Right.
first flow is gastrointestinal flow, your GI tract, right? That requires water. If you're dehydrated, you're going to be constipated. Nothing moves, right? The second flow is blood flow. Your blood is more than 90% water. If there's no water, everything in your blood is going to concentrate even more, and all your blood markers will go up because you're dehydrated.
Right.
The third flow is your lymphatic flow, right? There's flows. There's blood taking, delivering things to cells, and so there's a lymph taking the wastewater away, right? And then there's airflow. Air flows in your nose, down your lungs, and it essentially gets delivered around your cells, around your whole body. And the last thing is energy flow. Anyone who's ever had a pinched nerve, or hit their funny bone, they know about energy flow, right? And what happens to your body when you block that. All five of those rivers require water as the conduit, as the wire, right? And so that's why when you are dehydrated in water, all sorts of malfunctions start to happen, right? And you get all sorts of diseases and symptoms and all sorts of stuff. But instead of fixing that very simple, uh, that very fundamental issue, we go into allopathic medicine. We start treating people with lots of symptom relief instead of underlying the root cause.
Right.
And to
Yeah,
me,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what happened to my mom. That's why this is my driving force in my life, really, is what happened to my mom. They
Yeah.
never knew what was wrong with her. She had a sixth grade education because she could never stay healthy long enough to make it through a school year.
Mhm.
And it's amazing that I was healthy. And I was the second to the last of 12 kids, and my twin sister died after 26 hours. But I had to have a full blood transfusion when I was born.
Mhm.
We were both premature. I was 1 foot long, she was 1 foot long, and I was 4 pounds 3 ounces, and she was 3 pounds 4 ounces. And but they had to, I don't know why they had to transfuse all my blood, but they did. And I think they spent too much time working on me and they forgot about Gigi. But it's so interesting, bro, because if Gigi would have lived, I don't think I'd even be sitting where I'm at right here, right now. I think
Mhm.
my life would have been way different had my little sister lived.
Hmm.
So, who knows? But I do know that my mom, she was sick. She was when she passed away of a rare form of spinal meningitis that got created at the time back then. She didn't in 1990. They didn't have Rocephin.
Hmm.
They have Rocephin now, which if they would have had it back then and she might have lived, that might have saved her. But she got a cyst on the backside of one of her kidneys that poisoned her spinal fluid and turned her into a vegetable.
Hmm.
And she had already always told us that if she didn't want to be kept alive on a machine.
Hmm.
And so we unplugged it and watched her pass, and it's to this day, it's still brutal when I get thinking about it. But throughout her life, she was on this medication. And then it was like, oh, sorry, Mrs. Surprise, that got rid of that, but caused that. Oh, okay, here's another one for that. Oh, that caused that. Okay, here's another one for that. By the
Yeah.
time it was all said and done, she was swallowing 22 different poisons every single day. And those poisons manifested themselves on the backside of one of her kidneys and killed her. And, and so that's really my driving force behind all of this. But, I want to ask you to expand on this. And I know you've talked about this before, but I
Mhm.
think it's always worth going through because some people who may not have seen that episode, maybe they'll get to see this episode. And you did an awesome meeting last I think it was Monday. I can't remember what day. Maybe it was Tuesday. Whatever. You did a great meeting that I didn't get to stick around for the whole thing. But one of the questions was, water. What most people think water is just water.
Mhm.
And I made a comment. I said, if water's just water, why not get water out of your toilet? Why not go get it out of the gutter like your dog does? And 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 so there's water in your toilet, there's water in the gutter, there's water in plastic bottles, there's water here, there, and the other. It's the world's loaded with water, right?
Yeah.
Why in the heck is this water any different than the water that's in your toilet?
The properties, and the things that are in this water. So um, Actually, you remember maybe a month or two ago, there's all those fires and all that smoke in the air. Remember, JJ?
Yeah.
Okay, so um, people could see the toxins, they could see the smoke, they could see the impurities in the air, and they knew that, man, if breathing that stuff is going to cause me lung problems, right? Because that could be seen. The thing with water is, though, there's many impurities, there's many of these forever PFAS chemicals and Teflon and whatever things that we make for our modern day conveniences are in our water that we don't see anymore. You know, things are in there that were not there before. But because it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And so just like the smoke, you know, there's contamination, there's chemicals in our air all the time. It's just that we didn't get concerned until we see like a, you know, unless you live in LA or something like that, you can actually see the air. You live in Shanghai, you can see the air. It's brown, right? Well, when it got smoky, everyone is really, really concerned. Like, yeah, maybe I should change my air filter in my furnace, you know, and so that's the issue, right? There are so many chemicals in our water, whether that be fluoride, chlorine, heavy metals, you know, jet fuel, whatever it is, you know, firefighting foam, you know, all these plastic chemicals, all the microfibers from your laundry. Imagine, JJ, every time that you do laundry, you put it through the dryer, right? And all that lint that comes off every single time, right? And you know, if you've had a shirt for more than a few years, it loses the cotton, and then pretty soon the only thing left is the polyester or whatever, right? Your clothing gets thinner. Well, where do you think all those fabrics go? I mean, all those little fibers go into the water eventually. Or the air or something. It gets onto the ecosystem. Same thing with your little with your the rubber tires on your car. You know, you buy them brand new, the treads 11 millimeters deep, right? And you drive them for 5 years, and then there's 2 millimeters left on it.
Right.
So that means 9 millimeter of tire went somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you know, an interesting little thing for people on that, because that right there, you know, we were in the fossil business for a long time, and every year we would go down to Tucson and we would sell our fossils, and our hotel room was right next to a major freeway, right next to I-10 down there in Tucson,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, two major thoroughfares, that freeway and then another freeway. They call it Freeway Road, you know, so it's just cars just racing by us all day long, every day. And we had a table of fossils outside that we had outside the room. So people, when they were walking down the little thing, looking at all the rooms, they had fossils right there to look at, right? Well, every morning we would have to go out there and like sweep off our table, because our table would have all this black dust all over it. And what that was that's tires. It was literally tire dust all over our table. And we'd have to clean it all off. And we'd do that first thing in the morning. Every morning we'd clean all the black dust off of our table.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so that's exactly what's happening. Everybody's tires and all the soot and whatever from all the diesel exhaust and whatever was settling in. And we had you know, if you look at the fossils on the wall back here, we had a tablecloth over our table that was plastic on top, basically, but it was pretty much the same color as those fossils behind me.
Mhm.
And so that black dust, it just stood out like a sore thumb, you know, and we had to get it cleaned off every day. Otherwise, by the time the show would be over with, everything out there would just be sitting in a quarter of an inch of black gook.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what the big thing about this water is, that we've purified it, and then we've performed electrolysis on it, and so now we've returned it to the original condition that water was in the state of water, the cleanliness, the purity, the health benefits of water as it was, probably thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And so when you put this water in your body, it's going to change your pH, right? It's going to absorb into your body. It's going to deliver the electricity, the antioxidants, and it's going to provide you the hydrogen that is actually helping you detox, right? To quench free radicals out. And so that's what the difference is. Well, you get toilet water, you don't get the same properties, right? I mean, if you go to Shanghai and you breathe deeply for a few weeks, you're going to end up with emphysema or something like that. You're going to end up with some lung issues, right? Because the air there is not the same, right? The sky there is even not the same. If you go there, you look up, you won't see blue sky, you'll see brown sky, right? And it's just, if water's all the same, then pretty much any river is going to be the same, right? No, we know certain rivers are very polluted, right? The Flint, Michigan River, that's a polluted river. If you don't believe that, you can get some tap water from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, Marilyn's probably got firsthand knowledge of that because
Yeah,
she
I
lived
can contest to that, and they were going around and they were going to offer filters for everybody that lived in that area. And I'm like, you know what? I was really ill not too long ago, and our house, the water pipes bursted during the thaw in
Mhm.
2014. And we had a contractor come in and replace the pipes, and they said it was the city's fault. And he found lead built up in those pipes. He said, probably why you were been getting sick.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
it's not just Flint, it's everywhere has it, but Flint was really hit hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
And
not
that,
noticing it with everybody.
Sam, this brings another question, this right here with the polluted water and everything, because, you can already hear the responses from people that, why not just get a Brita filter, get a water softener filter or something like that. Why not just get a reverse osmosis system? Why should we get this little appliance that has to go on top of our countertop? Why that? Why not just a regular, just some sort of a water filter to take all the impurities out? What's the difference? Why is this not just, because people call this a water filter, and you and I both know that's not really what it is, but I mean, it does filter the water, but that's not the important aspect of it, really. So
Yeah.
what's the difference? Can you kind of explain why this is way
Yeah,
better than a
yeah. So
filtration system?
yeah, a filter basically strains out impurities, right? And it doesn't add things. It doesn't add electricity. Doesn't add antioxidants to the water. So this machine is different because it is a medical device. It's actually not a filter. You can't go to Home Depot and pick up this machine. You know, go Home Depot, pick up a Brita water filter for $30. It's not a big deal. It's basically you're getting a fancy strainer. Well, we have inside this machine, we have a filter, but then we also have the secondary process called electrolysis. And electrolysis is very simple. All you're doing is applying electrical charge to water. And because of that electrical charge, you can actually filter out using electricity, not just another carbon filter, but you're actually filtering using electricity, right? Um, so a lot of people have these electrostatic air filters that basically they charge the air, and then whether it's on your furnace or you have one of these Oric or one of these air ionizer machines, basically it charges these plates and it sends the air past those plates. Well, the charge basically attracts certain positive and negatively charged ions, and they stick to those plates, which are charged, negative and positive, right? Because opposites attract. We're doing the exact same thing with water, but for most people, they don't understand that when you do this to water, you impart some of the electrical properties in the water. And then when you drink that water, you get the electrical boost in your body, right? And that's what most people don't understand. Um, it's more than just a Brita water filter, because yeah, we have that. You know, I didn't leave the pharmaceutical world to go into the, you know, the filtered water business. You know, I studied medical technology, and I'm still working with medical technology, right?
Right.
And these properties, maybe I could share something with you guys, JJ.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. In fact, I gotta, while you're getting your share going, I'm gonna go grab something because that's gonna bring up my next question.
Yeah, so let me pull up this one paper here. So it's called Advanced Research on Reduced Water. And so this is probably the work that I share the most with people is this. Can you guys see that? Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can see that. That okay, good. Um, so this was a paper written. When was this? Back in, it looks like 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. Um, so research that was done in Japan, and this originally got me so intrigued in this project because I was like, wait, I'm a researcher. How come I didn't know about this? Right. Um, but look at this. It says in Japan, the research on functional water, especially on reduced water. And if you're not a scientist and you read this reduced water, does that mean it was on sale? Is that, you know, price reduced? You know, so reduced is a scientific term for something that has electrons to donate. Okay. Oxidized, right? Oxidized is something that has had the electron stolen from, right? So when you take a piece of metal and you oxidize it, right, you steal the electrons from it, it rusts. When you reduce something, you donate, right? And a reducing agent is something that actually has electrons to donate, right? So when they talk about reduced water, that's what that is. It's not water that's been, you know, priced to clear, right? So water is developing at a rapid pace. Reduced water, such as electrochemically reduced water, so basically produced with electricity, right? And naturally reduced water, because the Earth is a negative charge, right? Can scavenge reactive oxygen species in cultured cells. Reduced waters are expected to have the preventative and positive effects on oxidative stress related diseases such as diabetes, cancer, arteriosclerosis, neurodegenerative diseases, the side effects of hemodialysis. It has been suggested that the active ingredients in reduced water are hydrogen, atoms and molecules, mineral nanoparticles, and mineral nanoparticle hydrides, right? So this is a scientific paper, right? This is a scientific, you know, as much as people think about, oh, water is water. No, water is science. Water is a pH is science, and people don't consider it until it gets screwed up, right?
Right.
Um,
So
so this is a
this
big
is a
thing.
great spot to ask this question as well.
Mhm.
When something that Dr. Michael talked about a long time ago that really kind of blew my mind, and I've oftentimes done this little demonstration for people, and I've said to them, you know, this right here, this should be all that you need to see to understand why you need this water, but it probably won't be, but it should be. And then what I do is I fire up the old Kong machine and I take a cigarette lighter, or a barbecue lighter is actually what I like to use because they have a nice big flame. And I go ahead and put that lighter up to my water that's coming out of my machine. And it's like, I
Yeah.
actually melted my ST501, the tip of the hose. I actually melted it. Tina got mad at me. She's like, sweetie, you gotta quit doing that. You melted Kong. And Tim McGappet, he goes, you can get a new hose. I go, I ain't getting a new hose, man. That's Kong's war wounds. But why is it? Because when I shift that over to my faucet and I put that lighter up to my water coming out of my faucet, it doesn't go pow, 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 pow. What's happening there? Why is that happening?
Because when you do electrolysis, right? And so hopefully you guys can see these little A, B, C, D diagrams here, right? Electrolysis um, is basically just adding electricity to water. Basically, you have something that's a positive charge, something that's a negative charge, and then you're able to just shock the water. So you have these two plates, right? And you have this membrane that allows charges to go back and forth, right? Water and electrical charge to go back and forth, right? And so when you shock the water, you end up making water that's OH minus. You end up breaking the H2O. H2O breaks down into H plus OH minus, right? And a byproduct of that is H2 gas right here. You see. So we're doing a little chemistry chemistry thing in the morning here. So you make up H2 gas, and then when you hold your lighter up to that thing, that's why it's popping, right? It's just like the Hindenburg. The Hindenburg blimp was all hydrogen, right? And so that's why it blew up. Right? That's why it caught fire and blew up, right? And so this gas is a excellent free radical scavenger. So it actually helps you get rid of toxins and it absorbs hydrogen. If you look in table of elements, right? The periodic table of elements here. Maybe hopefully this will come up here. There it is. You guys see where hydrogen is? What number is hydrogen?
Number one.
Number one. It's the smallest molecule out there, right? It's the foundation. It's the first. It's the first element. It makes up everything. It's the smallest one, right? And so this is why it's such an effective, as an effective um, tool for us to use.
So
Right?
why aren't people getting, why somebody that's just drinking nice, clean, if there is such a thing, they're just drinking regular old, plain old, clean water. Like I got a really dear friend of mine who, when he stayed here at the house for a couple of days, and I gave him some demos, and he and his wife were drinking the water while they were here, and
Mhm.
while she was here, her runny nose stopped, and she's like, I usually always have a runny nose, while I was there, it stopped, and and then when they took off and went home, Ryan reached back out to me and he said, well, to tell you the truth, Jay, on a scale of 1 to 10, our interest in getting a Kangen water machine is 0.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I mean, obviously everything I showed them, everything they did, everything they witnessed from drinking the water itself for a couple of days, it just went in their one ear and out their other ear or whatever.
Yeah.
But why doesn't that water that's coming out of their well, because they live on a well up in the mountains in Colorado, and they think that their water's really super good, even though they brought it over and it tested extremely positive on the ORP meter. But
Mhm.
what for those people that have a well out there and they think, hey, I got the best water there is, it's coming out of my well. What's the difference? Where does it, you know it's obviously not being separated by the electricity, but
Yeah.
why does that really matter? Why should they be concerned about that?
Because modern society is full of toxins, and so there's risk in being alive in 2020, right? Because of all these modern chemicals that have been around about 100 years. It's ever since the Rockefellers, discovered oil, or swindled people out of oil rigs and things like that, right? And so water today is basically people already have a book of knowledge on water, and they've been conditioned to think that everything is the same. Water is water. And so that's why when you talk about water, you're actually talking about something that has zero value to people or very low value to people, right? And so that's for me, coming from healthcare, I don't really talk about water that much. I actually talk about, okay, so how do you mitigate the risk? Okay, if I put radiation into your water and you could not detect it because you don't have a radiation meter in your body, right? You have a tongue, you have eyes, you have nose, but none of those things can pick up radiation. How would you know? You're being irradiated, you're being poisoned, essentially. You wouldn't until you get enough poison that you start to exhibit symptoms. And so we've been conditioned that once you have symptoms, you take a pill, right? Who does that conditioning? Who pays for the advertisements on TV, right? Big pharma. Big pharma is a step, not a stepchild. It's an offspring of the Rockefeller family. It's related to plastics. And so here, let me show you guys something too. So I'm gonna look this up. Chemical.
So Sam, one thing real quick before you move on to this,
Yeah.
I wanna ask you a question about something that, quite frankly,
Did I
to
answer
this
the
day
did I answer
still
the question there? Like why people don't value it? Because they don't value it.
right.
Like because we're talking about something that water has no value to people. What people value is they value their health, they value their time, they value their iPhone, they value their car, but they don't value health until they lose it.
Right. And that's our goal here, with everything we're doing, like what that awesome channel that Dan and Liz are putting together that is gonna be such an incredible asset for helping people understand the value of
Mhm.
this so that people will start valuing this machine. Like we were talking yesterday, that if we had to go 5 years without drinking this water, if we sold our machine, there's no way we would sell our machine for less than like $100,000, and probably we wouldn't even sell it for any amount of money if we had to
Mhm.
go 5 years without drinking the water.
Yeah.
And so there's obviously value there, but you have to understand that value. And here's something that I wanted to see if I could get you to answer this question or whatever, because this right here, this is my drinking mug.
Mhm.
This is my 14-ounce mug that if I'm home, I drink these after every time I pee. I go grab another 14 ounces and guzzle it down
Yeah.
because I like it fresh out of the machine. And you'll appreciate this mug because it's all of the ski resorts in this great state of Utardia. But as you can see here, it's covered in like whatever, you know um, minerals or whatever that white film is, right? I believe that that's minerals. But
Yeah.
before I started drinking water out of my Kangen water machine, if I drank water out of my tap, it didn't do this. I didn't get this film on the inside of my mug. But now that I'm drinking all my water out of my Kangen water machine, this is kind of how I gauge. It's like it's time to clean my machine now. Because see this, it's all if this is all the way it is, then that means it's probably the same way inside my machine, and so it's time to clean. But why is it that the water coming out of, because and here's another thing just to add in so you understand or whatever, because my water, it's coming off of the mountain right here that's by my house, and it goes down into a deep well aquifer, and we don't put any kind of chemicals whatsoever in it. If there's anything in there, it's just the stuff that's coming from the environment, and it gets pumped up into our houses, and we've got some of the best water there is, just regular old plain old water, and it's absolutely loaded with natural minerals and all that kind
Mhm.
of stuff.
Mhm.
But before I got Kong, I didn't have this issue with all this stuff building up on my glass. But now when I drink water out of my Kong machine, I get all this mineral buildup. Why is that? I still don't understand that, and maybe you can shed some light for me.
Yeah, so let me share with you this picture here, right? You've seen this before, right, JJ, and everyone else here? You've seen this electrolysis process, right? This diagram.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the powder, the white residue that you see is calcium, right? All the animals in the world, none of them have osteoporosis. None of them have calcium issues. All they drink is river and pond water, right? And that river and pond water has calcium in it, right? And so calcium, magnesium is what your body uses to balance your pH, right? To counteract the acid, the standard American diet, which is very acidic. So when you do electrolysis, you have these positive and negatively charged plates, right? Well, calcium is a 2+ positive charge. So is magnesium, right? Potassium's 1+ and sodium's 1+. So you end up pulling those ions that are positively charged to the negative plate. And the negative plate is where you get your Kangen water, right? So you're getting calcium in your water, just like every other animal in the world, right? And then on the opposite end, you have chlorine, which is a negative charge. You have fluoride. If you look up I'll look this charge of fluoride. Oops. In water. Okay. So you see this? Fluoride has a negative charge. You see that, JJ?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go back over here, and if you're a fluoride process going through this electrolysis process, which plate would you be pulled to? If
To
you're
the
negative,
positive side.
yeah, you'd be pulled over here just like the chlorine, right? And then this is where the acid comes out, right? Because right in the middle here is an ion selective membrane. It lets ions ions go back and forth, right? Because the ions, they start on this side, like the fluoride is on this side, but because it's running past this plate, it's attracted to the positive plate because it's a negative, right? This is what ionization does, right? So when your glass is coated in this magnesium calcium, that's because your water has magnesium calcium. The question is, does your body need minerals like magnesium and calcium? Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
Right? Yes, it does. That's why it's in the water. It wasn't added like fluoride wasn't added. Right? Nature just puts things there that you need in your body. That's why all the deer, all the raccoons, chipmunks, squirrels, bears, everyone else drinks, natural spring water. They drink unprocessed water. There's no other animal that drinks bottled water. Okay.
What a great point. There's no other animal that drinks bottled water. Take that one, kids, and put it in your quiver and throw that out there on Facebook.
There's no other animal that pays for water.
And then what type of calcium are we all chugging down that's just sucking it out of our bones? Sam, what?
You mean
The mineral. Yeah.
mineralized calcium, like all these minerals, right? It was sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium. That's what's in our water.
Yeah.
Right? We have minerals in our water. We should have minerals in our water.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, but it's the one they take the calcium supplement and they chug their milk and they think it's good for their bones. And I keep trying to tell people it's the wrong type of calcium, but I always forget what the difference between.
Yeah, it's probably, it's stabilized calcium. It's not charged. Doesn't have a charge in it.
Okay.
So that's why when you take calcium, it doesn't really get to where it needs to go, right?
Yeah, it stays in your blood, which sucks it out of your bones.
Yeah. Well, no,
Or-
there's calcium and magnesium in your bones, right? That's your storage
Yeah.
for calcium and
Or-
magnesium, right? And so when you're drinking something in like a soda pop or Red Bull, whatever, something acidic, right? Acid is a lot of H plus. Over here, if you look here, over here, acid water, there's a lot of H plus, right?
Mhm.
So to balance out all this H plus, right? You need some OH minus to balance it out, right? But your body will actually take the calcium and magnesium out of your bones to balance your pH,
That's what it is. All right.
right? And so if you are have osteoporosis, right, that means your body has taken so much calcium out of your bones, and thank goodness it takes it evenly, right, that you have holes in your bones, right? So having osteoporosis is the result of having an acidic lifestyle. Osteoporosis is not a disease. Osteoporosis is the result. And so all these diseases that we have are really not diseases. They're actually just the symptoms, right? And so if you look at just break down the word osteoporosis. Osteo means bone, pore means holes, osis is condition of, right? So osteoporosis is a condition of having holes in your bones. That's all it is. What causes those holes? The doctors don't know. They don't have a cure. Well, I know what causes those holes in your bones. Your body pulling the calcium and magnesium out to balance what you had for lunch.
Right.
Right. That's why people who are very acidic, they have a lot of bone up problems, right? Osteoporosis, right? And so, but this is part of the game that we are not told. And very few people understand Greek and Latin roots, right? But that's all medicine is. They just came up with a new language, the Latin or Greek root of a certain word, and they say it to you, and it sounds, it sounds exotic because most of us we know English, we don't know Latin, right? But if you study medicine, you know a lot of Latin, right?
I feel like the healthcare industry has acted like Middle Ages church and has created words so we can like separate ourselves from people, make
Exactly.
them like they don't know really what's going on. So they need us almost.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of look at it.
So
Yeah,
Sam,
it's
I
so
got
true.
another question I think that interjects beautifully into this particular part of our conversation today, and that's that person who says, "Oh, I get my pH by putting baking soda in my water and a little bit of lemon." What do you say to those people? What's the difference? How does that?
So baking soda, when you drink it into your body, it's going to have a similar effect, right? You are adding a net amount of calcium into your body, right? And your body has to absorb it and filter it and excrete what it doesn't need, right? But you're not getting the electrical charge. You're not getting the hydrogen, right? So there's been a lot of these. JJ, you've seen alkaline water, right, in the stores. And if you flip the bottle around, you can see the ingredients list: calcium carbonate, magnesium, also the same things that's in our water, right? Basically, they're selling you water, basically, with baking soda in it, or Tums, right? They dissolve Tums into your water, right? And so you're getting all the minerals, right? But you're not getting the electrical charge. You're not getting the hydrogen, because if you test those waters for electrical charge with your ORP meter, JJ, and Brandon and Marilyn and everyone else here, you'll come up with a positive charge, right?
Right.
And that's the big difference. And there's
And
no
so
hydrogen in that water.
that basically makes it so that your body can't really absorb that calcium and magnesium that they're putting in there. And so So then what does your body have to do now?
Yeah, your body then has to filter it out. So the end result of drinking baking soda water, one of the symptoms people are going to have if they overdo it, right? If that's all they drink all the time, they buy cases and cases of alkaline water from the store to drink, they're going to have kidney stones. They're going to have calcium kidney stones because it's structured in a way that your body has to filter it out.
So it doesn't actually absorb it, like you're not getting that calcium and magnesium into your bones. You're actually having to filter it out, and then your body has to come up with that calcium and magnesium somehow. So from what my understanding is that your body goes and steals that corresponding amount from your bones.
Well, when you're drinking alkaline water that's made with baking soda, your body is a filter, right? Either you have a filter or you are the filter, right? That's true for air, that's true for the water, that's true for food and everything. That's true for information. You got to filter stuff coming into your head every day. If you watch TV all the time, you're gonna go under psychosis or something, right? So you have to have a filter. And so if you don't have something to strain all these things out, these minerals are going to be filtered by your kidneys, and that's where the kidney stones are. And so most people that have kidney stones, they also have osteoporosis, right? They also have an acidic lifestyle. So where is their calcium coming from? Where's their kidney stone coming from?
From their bones.
From their bones, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? You're so acidic that your body has to maintain pH. It will pull the magnesium and calcium out of your bones, and now it's into your blood to maintain the blood pH. And then all the blood goes to the kidney, and the blood has to be filtered, right? So now it's going to pull the calcium, magnesium out of the blood and make a little stone that you got to pass, right? And we're going to fix this by putting more calcium into your body. Right? And milk does the body good, so drink some more. Right?
So, one thing I love that
Good.
whole thing right there, Sam, because what I've heard is that people who have kidney stones that drink Kangen water, that they end up being able to pass them, and that it ends up helping them out tremendously, and those kidney stones go away. Now, how does that's basically because of the fact that you're drinking a calcium and magnesium now that your body can actually absorb, and in fact maybe sucks it in like a vacuum, or why is that? Because obviously we got to, looking at where we're at right here with this chart, we're getting a lot of calcium, magnesium, but why is it that getting more of that calcium and magnesium actually gets rid of the kidney stones versus making them worse?
So one reason is the actual hydration, right? So the structure of you see this little chart here, chart number B or something like that. You see mineral NPs, mineral nanoparticles, right? And so so the calcium and magnesium have been restructured, so they're nanoparticles. They're so small that you can actually absorb them, right? And the calcium on your cup, on your glass there, JJ, hold up your glass there. Those aren't small. You can actually see the white powder.
Right.
It's been accumulated, right? But if you have them in a restructured format, it's going to absorb much faster, right? But you start stacking up all those things up on each other, then they'll form that white cloud, right? So yeah, it's not the same structure. You have to have it broken so finely, right? Instead of coarse calcium, you have fine grade calcium that your body can absorb.
Right. And this right here, this is like 3 weeks or so, because I deliberately never get rid of any of that stuff that's in my cup, because this is kind of my gauge. Once it gets kind of caked up like this, then it's like, okay, time to clean the machine.
Okay, hey JJ, so When you clean the machine, what are you using to clean it?
Citric acid.
Oh, wait. So if you put citric acid, a citric acid solution into your glass there, into your cup, what's going to happen to the calcium?
It completely dissolves it and cleans it like spit shine, nice and clean, clear
Okay.
glass.
Okay, excellent, right? So imagine that glass is your bones and your calcium inside your body. Okay? And you pour Coca-Cola into your cup there, into your body. What's going to happen to your calcium?
It's gonna spit shine it.
It's going to pull all your calcium out, right? Well, actually, your body's going to pull the calcium from your bones to balance your Coca-Cola out.
Right.
Basically, it's a balancing act, right? And so let me stop sharing this here. This, you see this pen right here? This right now is an equation, right? Every chemical reaction in your body is an equation. H, right? H2O is broken down into H plus OH minus, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like 1 + 1 = 2, right? The equal sign means that it's balanced, right? If
Right.
you shift the equation, you load it up on one side, right? The other side has to increase, right, to keep it balanced. And your body is that system. Your body is a system that stays in balance, right? When you get out of balance, that's when you get sick,
Right.
right? So this is the one thing that most of modern medicine does not understand. We're not working with a set of Legos here. We're working with a system that knows how to balance, right? So when you put a load on one side, the system reacts, right? And then that thing goes up. Then we have a medication for that thing, so we're going to push that thing down. Well, when you push that thing down, something else goes up.
Yeah.
Right? This is what the medical system doesn't understand, that we're dealing with something that's alive. We're not dealing with a set of Legos or a brick. Well, some people are brickheads, so maybe some people we are dealing with bricks, but most people they have a body that can adapt, right? And so when you restore that balance, you return it to equal, right? Then that's when you get your health back. But as soon as you start shifting of your Coca-Cola and your diet and you do your smoking, whatever, you start shifting the system, then you have lung issues, right? The lung issues come up, right? Then you take medication for your lung issues and that suppresses that system. But guess what happens to your other organs? Now you got liver issues, right? Well, then you start treating the liver issues and then you got like kidney issues coming up. This is what's going on. And so that's why the system doesn't work.
Yeah, that's how the system killed my mama. And that's why I'm so adamant about this and why I do what I do. Because this is the most important thing that a human being can do for themselves. And I know it's a tough thing trying to get people to understand it. And I think it's going to get easier and easier and easier as time goes by. You know, back in the early 90s, nobody even knew what an antioxidant was. But now everybody knows what they are. And everybody's excited about them and wants them. And everybody's trying to take advantage of them. And like Dan was saying yesterday, you know, they come up with this great marketing plan, a compensation plan, and then they go, okay, what kind of product are we going to put with this? You know, and we've got the opposite. We've got the great product, and we're like, okay, how are we going to get this out there? How are we going to do it? And so not only do we have the greatest product on the planet, but we have one of the greatest compensation plans as well to go along with it. So that's exciting. And
yeah. So here, before we wrap up, I want to share one last thing with you guys here. So getting back to that research paper, the advanced research on reduced water. Okay, so these are all the clinical, these are all the clinical effects of this water. Okay. On the bottom there, you've got anti-type 1 diabetes, anti-type 2 diabetes, and they're studying these things for other, now they're thinking there's a type 3 diabetes, right? So on the right here, there's some anti-cancer effects. There's a lifespan up above that, lifespan elongation of nematodes. Nematodes are just basically like worms that they do a lot of research on, because worms have a short life, right? So reactive oxygen species scavenging, these are the free radicals. So you can scavenge is basically find them and get rid of them. And then you've got some applications in hemodialysis, basically dialysis, and then kidney disease, anti-neurodegenerative effects, basically all these ADHD and some of the effects of aging, Alzheimer's and dementia, arteriosclerosis. This is hardening of the blood vessels. So this will help with blood pressure, blood flow, all sorts of things, right? And then you got basically a whole list of anti-allergy effects, radioprotective effects for anti-radiation. Hepato is liver, hepatoprotective, right? Liver protection, anti-gastric mucosal injury, all these GI problems, anti-metabolic acidosis. This is when you have buildup of acid in the body, basically it changes their metabolism, makes them fat. So you can have some properties against that. Protection of the retina. A lot of people report their vision improves. Anti-side effects from the chemotherapy, anti-hangover. That's probably my favorite effect there. And so when you drink this after a night out of drinking, the next day you're not like with headache and all sorts of stuff. You're just like regular guy again. And then accelerated penetration into aquapores. This is actually absorption, right? So look up this article, okay, guys. Here, let me zoom out so you guys can see what it's called. Trends in Food Science and Technology. It's called Advanced Research on the Health Benefits of Reduced Water. And remember, reduce is not on sale, right? Reduce is a scientific term. Okay, that means hydrogens to donate, right? So if you've got someone that's really sciencey and wants all the data, basically you can send them this and tell them that they can research for the next few decades, or they can just drink some of this. And then I actually went through and read all these little different papers, so you can look at someone's got triglycerides and cholesterol problem. There it is, right? Someone who's got some weight issues, metabolic acidosis, health issues. There it is. Someone who wants to killing bacteria on the tomatoes. There it is. Right, and so all these references are there. So it blows my mind here. Someone's like 101 diabetes patients drink this Nordenau water, right? Just basically this antioxidant water, and see what happens, right? But it's all right there on this paper, and it's with all the diagrams. But I tell people that our society is so unaware. We're so smart, but we're so unaware. And that's why everyone's running around like, they've got a medicine cabinet full of pills, and they've got a mask to protect them from a deadly virus. And then they pull that mask down to have their cigarette and their Coke. And I'm sitting there like, okay, that's pretty unintelligent there, but that's marketing. And then when they get emphysema and they get diabetic, there's some truly that whatever new drug that's being advertised on TV every 15 minutes. But no one's but water's a scam, but not the pharmaceutical industry. And I share with people, it's like, hey man, this is survival of the fittest. If you're not going to be fit and you don't believe in simplicity, you could be unfit and believe in complexity.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest. And all the nurses, all the doctors, they know, they see all these people come in through the emergency rooms. They have these clinics, and they know, that's why there's a percentage of doctors and nurses that go jogging and running and everything, right? And there's a percentage of nurses that smoke and drink Coca-Cola. They're people too.
Well,
Right.
sort of. Sometimes I refer to them as just globs of tissue.
Hey, now.
Hey man, I'm sorry. The truth sometimes hurts, but it is.
Some of us are good.
Yeah. Right. And so Brandon, you're a nurse?
I am.
Oh, good. Okay. So you
Yeah, I
see
just
it every
graduated.
day, right?
What?
You see the effects of people not taking care of their health every day, right?
Oh, I worked up at a care center. I was hired up at a care center right out of school.
Mhm.
So I definitely saw the end. Yeah.
Yeah. And so as a result of that experience, you want to do everything you can to avoid that situation later in life, right? Because you saw it firsthand.
No, not right. Making steps,
Yeah.
making steps. You look at things a little bit different, and while searching for the answers, you see it in school. Once you see how crucial the acid-base balance is,
Yeah.
and the effects of metabolic and respiratory acidosis on people after a while, you see how, that's what we're treating most of the time, when people go into the ER, and that's the long-term effects at the care center. Now I've got the tools to work on it. Do I drink Coke? Yes. God dang, I wish I didn't. But before Kangen water, I didn't drink very much water because I'm one of those guys who was raised like that just wasn't important. And it wasn't important to me even while seeking out better health for myself. I was just one of those people who was organic food. It didn't matter what type of water. And then I met these guys, and now it's like, and that's why I try to tell everybody with all the alternative treatments and all the new age like diets and all the stuff that they're trying to go with. They're just trying to get these molecules and these compounds in their body to break it down to hydrogen.
Yep.
And we've got it here. So I'm working a lot better on that stuff. But no, as a nurse, you see all that and you still.
Well, I worked at the Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. It's a Trauma One center.
Mhm.
And I'd get called down to the emergency room. I'd have my little blood gas crash cart from the laboratory. They called me down when there was a motorcycle accident or something, someone crashing out. And I'd see it firsthand.
Mhm.
When you see trauma firsthand, you're like, man, what'd that guy do?
Yeah.
And I'm going to take whatever precautions so I can avoid that situation because I don't want to end up here.
Mhm.
And well, you stepped away, but I shared with everyone that the body has a homeostasis system, right? So
Mhm.
your body, and so Brandon, this is one of the things I share with people that Western medicine doesn't understand that your body is very smart. Western medicine believes that it is smarter than your body, right? And so when you have imbalance, when your homeostasis system is so loaded to one side or the other that you start to exhibit a imbalance, right? Then you're going to have something else rise up, right? Because you've loaded the system down with too much salt, too much sugar, too much whatever, too much of something, right? Because it's easy to go too much in this society, right? And then you have something rise up, and then you control that thing with a chemical, right? And so you lower that chemical, but it causes the system to react in a certain way that some other issue comes up. And so now you manage that system, and something else comes up. We're not dealing with, like I was saying before, we're not dealing with Lego blocks. We're not dealing with a static system. We're dealing with a system that actually is living and can respond, right? The problem here is, let me share this with you guys here. The problem is when you respond by putting chemicals into the body, and those chemicals are made from crude oil, right? Then your body is going to start reacting to the chemicals, right? And so if you look up
Gotta get away from these.
yeah, exactly, from plastics, right? Plastics, everyone knows, comes from crude oil, right? The plastic industry contains some overlap as some chemical companies produce plastics as well as chemicals, okay? So you guys can look this up. So you go down to the contents, you go history, products, companies, technology, whatever, also such stuff, right? But you go to products and you click on life sciences here. You guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Click on life sciences, right? Let's see if I can get the whole paragraph in here. So Brandon, can you see that okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay, can you read that first that paragraph on life sciences?
Oh,
Read
would
it out loud.
you read it? Yeah. Life sciences are about 30% of the dollar output of the chemistry business. Huge. Includes differentiated chemical and biological substances, pharmaceuticals, diagnostics, animal health products, vitamins, and pesticides.
Okay, stop right there. Stop
Yeah.
right there. What's the problem with that sentence that you read?
That that you're putting petrochemical into your blood whenever you're taking any of these medications.
Yeah. And so how are pharmaceuticals, vitamins, and pesticides related? You see what I mean?
I mean, they're basically the same, and that's what you were saying with the balance. When we give somebody these vitamins or the medications, it does have sort of the desired effect, but what they don't tell you is all the other
Side effects.
effects from it. They just kind of wave that off like it's nothing.
Yeah. So vitamins are
Get
good for
really
you.
fast at the end of the commercial.
Yeah. And the doctors and nurses do that too because we're not taught. We're not taught in the correct way.
System, right? So this, you guys see this, vitamins are good for you. Pesticides are like a designed, pest is like bacteria and bugs, and a side is like death, right? So like homicide, suicide, those all things have to do with death, right? So anything that ends with side is a Latin root for death.
It's just killing our gut biome, just killing
There
it.
you go. So how could something that's supposedly good and something that's deadly all come from the same family?
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
I try to tell people when they're taking that, they're just wanting to break down to the antioxidants and get down to the hydrogen. We don't need this stuff. This product gets you down to the basic without everything else.
Exactly. And then I didn't go into the oil industry. I went into the pharmaceutical industry, but I ended up working in the oil industry.
We're part of the empire.
We're part of the evil empire, right? And so read, when you guys have a chance, like finish, actually here, read the last sentence here. Right? Pesticides, also called crop protection chemicals, are about 10% of this category and include herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides, all the homicides you want.
It's like they got like fungicides and pesticides coming out of this machine, and then they're like, just put a sugar coating on top of it, and it's a
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a blood pressure medicine. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and it just causes more problems.
Statins, they wanted me on those. Woo.
Me too. They had me on all that stuff.
Yeah.
Glad you found this, Marilyn.
Yeah, I'm telling you, talking about the kidneys, one of the things that was hard and I'm still having issues with is the kidneys, and I am prone to kidney stones. And instead of me urinating, I was bleeding when I was really, really ill. And yeah, I'm blessed that I found the water 2 years ago, thanks to Ann. And I'm still having an issue with it. And I'm just like, but I'm doing everything. I'm drinking the water, but what's still going on? Why is this still going on? It's layers that's got to be taken care of misuse, of
Mhm.
what they chose to try to heal my kidney issues and my fatty liver.
Your kidney's tissue is millions and millions of tangles like that to heal it and get all the scar tissue out.
Mhm.
Yeah. Did you know that it affects your limbs? It affects your legs. Like I go to a holistic chiropractor and I had to go to see her a lot in the last 3 weeks. And my left side is kidney related.
Mhm.
And something's going on with the kidney right here. Gets tender. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, all connected. That's been so flaring up. Migraines coming again. I'm like, what is going on? I'm drinking the water. But somewhere along the line, I'm detoxing, getting rid of whatever. And I'm telling you, it's painful, but
Mhm.
I'm not giving up. I'm staying with my 2 or my 11.5, but I got my 9.5.
Yeah.
And I teach people about change your life by changing your water.
Yeah, so there's a great video. It's called What the Cell. It's from
Yeah.
Gary Tensky. You guys should look this up. What the Cell is going on from Gary
Yeah.
Tensky. Okay?
What the cell is going on. I love it.
What
Yeah.
the cell is going on?
Just like there's one about what the health. And
Yeah.
when you watch that program, when you're watching that, you'll say, what the hell? And I don't like that word, but you know,
Yeah.
what in the world are they doing to us
I love it.
in our food?
What the cell is going on? So
What the cell?
here it is. So, but I think it's a this isn't the one, but it's the same title, and it's about 50 minutes. It'll really tell you what is going on in our body, in the cellular level.
Oh, okay, thanks.
You have to understand this, because if we
Yeah.
don't understand this, then we understand what we're being told to understand,
Mm-hmm.
right? And 2020 is a wake up year
It
for a
sure
lot of
is.
people. And so if they don't under this is existential crisis this year. If you don't
Mhm.
understand what's being put on your food, water, air, and in your medicine, then you ain't gonna be around.
Yeah.
Period.
When you're having a reaction to something too, this is what I learned in my healing, is what did you just have? What did you just eat? What did you just smell? What did you just apply? What did you just go through emotionally, mentally, and physically? It all affects you emotionally, physically, mentally. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot since I've come into the Kong family.
Yeah. Well,
I'm so-
yeah, it's about spirituality, right? It's about
Yeah.
a lot of different things, and it's all related. It's all
Yeah.
related. So
Mhm.
You know,
Well,
Sam, I love what you just said there about the, people, 2020 being a year of kind of awakening or whatever. And I keep thinking back when you said that, it made me think back to last December, I think it was. It was early December last year when Jerry Kostica did a big meeting talking about this year. This was before all this nonsense started, but he was talking about the year 2020 being the year of perfect vision.
mhm.
And
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think you just nailed it on the head right there, brother. If people can't get their vision based on what the heck has happened this year,
Ain't no
I'm
hope.
not sure there's any chance for them ever being able to see anything. And
Tell you something?
it's
I don't
most,
wear my glasses.
yeah. And
Water helped my vision.
Wow.
I don't have glasses.
That is amazing. So
Mhm.
what was your vision like before him?
Oh, blind. Couldn't even see across the road or across the room. I was blind when my husband and I met when I was 23. He bought my first pair of glasses. I'm like, wow, I can see now once I got glasses and then started drinking this water. It's been 2 years now. And I don't even have to, I have trouble reading up front now. I can't even, I got to take my glasses off. So I'm looking around the house. Oh, wow, I can see that too. So this is a proof it does work. It helps bring back that balance. Glaucoma, no longer. My doctors don't find it no more. I had Graves' disease.
Yep.
So
I
see,
read it. Yeah.
It's
That's an
working
amazing
because
thing.
you know, do your kidneys is related to the eyes,
Yep.
you
Yeah,
know?
everything
So
is related. Everything's
in there.
connected. There's another video,
Yeah.
who is it by, he talks about energy flow. There's a doctor down in
Yeah.
Texas. I'm trying to think of what the video is called. But yeah, it's all related. It's all connected.
Yes.
And so the
Sure is.
system basically is designed to divide and conquer. And so your
Mhm.
body is being divided. That's why there's so many specialties, right? That's why, you know,
Mhm.
as a medical student, you study all these books, and then you got to decide if you want to be, you know, a liver specialist, or you want to be a kidney specialist, or foot specialist, or whatever, skin
Mhm.
specialist, right? And so
Mhm.
the body's been divided into 1,000 different things, right?
Mhm.
The
Have you
divided.
heard of Donna Eden? Donna Eden, she's considered of the medicine woman.
Hmm,
She heals
hmm.
her own body by just listening and feeling her own vibration in her body. Look her up on YouTube. That's how I started learning about energy, how to release what no longer belongs in those areas of my body that's hurting. You
Mhm.
know, there's toxins built up. How can anything flow?
True, true. Yep. So yeah, this is the message we're getting out. You know, getting out there. Brandon's got to go, but we should have more conversations, Brandon, from what you experienced in healthcare too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Brandon, if you're not friended up with Sam Tran yet, brother, you need to get a friend request to him. Make sure to send him a message. You got to get friended up with Sam before he has too many friends and you can't friend up with him. You need to be in that 5,000. You're one of the special 5,000. You need to be in there, man.
Mhm.
Sam, we may already be friends on Facebook.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't been on there much in the last 3 months. Kind of needed to go out there, but still have Messenger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, you know, I'm so happy to be on this journey of you guys, you know, because my life before in pharmaceutical cancer research was totally different, you know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
now, you know,
I,
this is
I,
awesome.
I felt like me going up to that care center was my only option. After school, they gave me a bunch of money, and I was
Yeah.
making more money than I ever had before. But I just couldn't. Through these guys, I've realized that there's other options. I'm doing IV infusions right now and working on aesthetics more than in a healthcare facility, and with this water, and hopefully I'm trying to get this into like the area of infusions to reduce the amount of vitamins we even have to put, and maybe kind of get a foot in the door with
Yeah.
industry there. But
Mhm.
Well, we'll have to talk about that some more, the
We
IV
will.
business.
yeah, I would love to talk to you in the future. I honestly got to go and try to make some contact COVID calls and stuff to make some money in the meantime.
Yeah. We got to do it.
You have a
Love you,
great day,
brother.
honey.
Thanks for being here, man. Always
Thank
great
you.
having you in
We're
here.
blessed to have you, Brandon.
Eh. Nah, you guys are you're the group. Yeah. What I was
Yeah.
telling Dan yesterday too, it was just with the company, it was the community more than the company. And so I
Mhm.
thank you guys.
Yes.
And
you're
hopefully I
right.
can get this word of health out to people
Mhm.
instead of, you know, the one that me and you have pushed for so long, Sam, or was taught.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
And
another
it'll
side.
benefit
It's
you.
out there. So I got to get going.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being
Take
here.
care.
Mhm.
Love you, brother. Have a
Here,
great
love
day.
Yeah,
ya.
that'd be great.
Bye-bye.
So kids, I'm guessing that unless anybody has a question or anything for Sam, I'd like to go ahead and give us a closing prayer and we can get on with changing the world for the best.
Thank you
Yep.
for everything, Sam. Thank
Thank
you.
you guys.
Yeah, even his own story is talking for itself, you know.
I know. I know. I come close to death too, and it ain't fun. Scared for your life and don't know what's happening around you. It's like, whoa. And I know God came to me, and I still remember that day in the hospital. He came to me. I got a better plan for you. He said,
Mhm.
plan is for you to prosper, not harm. Plans for good, not evil. Plans for hope and a future. That future means we should not have to live in a diseased body or mind or spirit.
True.
You know, it's
So
been interesting watching the transformations of some of the people that I've met through this whole journey. And you know, you're one of them, Marilyn. It's really it's awesome. I'm super happy for you.
And I
Super
thank
happy
you
for
a lot.
Paul and just so many of these other people that have had their lives changed because of this company, and I'm one of them. I'm one
Yep.
that has had my life completely transformed by getting involved with this company and the amazing people that are part of it. And so, yeah, it
You
really is
remember, I don't
a
remember if you
wonderful
remember
place
how
to
thin I
be,
was.
guys. It's a wonderful place to be where we are right now.
Mhm.
And, you know, like Dan said yesterday on the show, this last month, we sold just under 5,000 Kangen water machines in the entire United States of America.
Wow.
That is such a teeny little itsy bitsy teeny weeny little town. I mean, look at the potential we have for growth and expansion, you guys.
Mhm.
It's absolutely mind-boggling when you look at what we have in front of us and the ability that we have to change lives for the best. And you know, the two things that I'm praying for every day are the two most amazing families of people with the two most important things that there are, you know, I mean, that I can handle. I mean, like with a Nagic, it's your physical health, your financial health, and your spiritual health.
Right.
Well, you know, I have a tremendous opportunity right now to help people with their physical health and their financial health. I can't say that I'm really the one that's going to be able to help them with their spiritual health, but I'll certainly give it my best shot. You
You're
know,
doing a good job on that, JJ. I wanted to tell you.
you know, I got a lot of work to do in that department on my own side. So, you know,
I've seen it. I've seen
tickled to
it.
be here.
God's working in you.
And yeah, and he's working in
You're
all
doing
of us.
great.
Yep.
You know, Sam, brother, I love you. I really look forward every first Wednesday of the month. It's like, sweet, it's Wednesday again. The first Wednesday, I get to talk with Sam again, you know, and it's just always wonderful hearing the things that you have to say because, you know, your logic and your reasoning is just such a blessing and such a warmth and, you know, it's just wonderful having somebody out there that's always putting out the good solid information that we all need to share and spread. And if we want to accomplish our goal of changing the world, we gotta have that kind of an attitude and have this kind of information. And every time I always have a big old list of stuff that I've written down when it's when it's done.
Yeah.
So I look forward to next month. And you know, now I'm going to go ahead and give us a closing prayer and then we can get on with it, unless you got anything else you want to add, Sam.
Yeah, I want to say one thing here, JJ. So you know, we're trying to reach the right person in the right time. Okay, so we have to be willing to let go of the wrong person at the wrong time. And so that is a conversation we need to be okay with. This information that we share is the absolute truth. It's the most simplest thing ever. Well, it's not quite as easy as breathing air, but it's pretty darn close. Drinking water, right? So it's pretty darn simple. And it's gonna last the span of time. It's gonna be here. It's gonna be true until, you know, the end of time. So 1,000 years from now, when we're eating George Jetson food or whatever it is they got us chewing on, water is still gonna be the drink, right? And so we have to let go of our desire to be the person that brings it to everyone. So now I'm just a messenger. I'm just a drop in the bucket. I'm saying my truth, and I've let go of trying to be the man, trying to be the one, right? And so it allows me to be free and it allows me to have this mental ease of just sharing it with someone, because I frankly don't care if they believe me or not, because it's not about me. If they believe it or not, it's up to them. It's their life. My conscience is clear because I shared it with them, right? And so what they do after I share with them is on their watch.
Yeah.
right? But my conscience is clear. And so maybe we can talk a little bit about that mindset, and because it's shifted in my head in the past, in the past year or so, where we're in 2020. This is no joke, right? We're sitting around wearing masks, and they're talking about vaccines for everything now. And so people aren't waking up. Then there's this year of all years, then I ain't got time, because there's I'm trying to find the right person.
Yeah.
So when I wrote that message about follow the white rabbit, right?
The
I
white
want
bunny?
follow the the bunny, right? Follow the white rabbit, because the trail, the it gets deep. We're gonna take this really deep, and so I'm only willing to talk and spend time with the people that go deep, that have an awareness. The people that just want to argue and look at clinical data, I ain't got time. You can wait till 2025. You wait till 2021. But this year, I'm only working with the people that are woke, right?
Amen.
And so we have to learn to let that go. That we're not here to save everyone. We're here to save the ones that want to be saved.
Yes. Amen. Yeah, exactly, brother. We can't help people who won't help themselves. I learned that a long, long time ago. You simply can't help people who don't want to help themselves, period. No matter how much you want to, no matter how much it breaks your heart or whatever. And, it's like my buddy Garrett told me the other day that I was a legend in stupidity, amongst his little group of people. And I said, I just giggled about that. I thought it was quite humorous. And I think he expected me to get mad about it or something, but all I did is laughed. And I said, hey, no big deal. I'm good with that, because I got the truth on my side. I don't have my truth on my side. I've got the truth on my side. There isn't my truth and your truth. There's only the truth. And my life over the last 28 years has been spent trying to find the truth. And I've shifted my paradigm here and there wherever I've needed to, when I've found out that what I thought was the truth was not. And so I had to shift directions, because there's only the truth, and if you got the truth on your side, you guys, you're bulletproof. You really are. You're bulletproof. You don't even need to be concerned about anything that anybody thinks or whatever. But you also need to always continue to try to grow and learn, and make sure that that truth that you think is the truth is really the truth. And, that's the whole thing about always wanting to learn every single day. I got to learn something new every day. I don't ever just take anything and say, oh, that's BS. If it's something I haven't learned about, I've got to learn, and then I can make an educated choice, right?
True. Hey guys, so get this book, okay? I'm sharing it right now. It's called Letting Go. The Pathway of Surrender, by David R. Hawkins. So you could probably find a YouTube video on it, or find a PDF, but get that book and listen to it, or listen to him talk about it. This is the thing that will get us past any kind of roadblock in any kind of business for the rest of your life. You have to learn to let go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amen, brother.
Thank you. I
Thank
learned
you
that
so
too.
much.
Let
And now
go.
let me give us a closing prayer, and then let's get out there and rock this world again today. That's
Right.
what we got to do. Our Father in heaven, I want to thank you once again for such an amazing, beautiful day, and the opportunity to open my eyes and my mind and my heart and my soul, and be able to communicate and gather with such amazing people. Lord, I can't thank you enough for all the wonderful people that you keep putting into my life, keep giving me an opportunity to develop camaraderie and trust and love with, because we have such an amazing project going on right now, thanks to you and Mr. Oshiro. I gotta just thank you so much for the whole Congan family, and everything that you keep doing to help us stay strong and help us get the truth out there. I also got to give a bit of love and ask for some blessings for my other family, the Academy of Private Investors and Mr. Havertoff and everything that he's doing over on the other side to help people in their financial situations. And, you know, I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing to help me get closer to you, to help me develop into a better person, to help me, you know, help more people and just have this incredible burning desire to change this world for the best. And I just thank you so much for Sam and for Marilyn and for Brandon and for Stephanie and for everybody else that's in here, Sylvia and Rodgar and my dear friend KC. You know how much I love all of them, and I'm so appreciated to be able to be with them and be here in the mornings and start our days off right. And of course, Lord, I got to ask for blessings for my brother Rodgar, for my sister Sylvia, and my brother Elvis. They're out there delivering the goods. You know what they're doing. They're out there dodging all them damn Anasazi, and they need some help with that. So make sure that they can dodge safely so that they can make it home, because we need them. We need them part of our team. And my brother, the trucker, well, Scotty Wood, he's back out there today dodging them damn Anasazi as well. So if you could take care of him, I'd really appreciate that. And just please help bless all of these incredible families that we have going on right here. And, you know, help us have the ability to get the information out there and help these people that we're talking to open up their eyes and open up their minds and open up their hearts and souls to the truth of what we're telling them, because we're trying to help them, but we understand that we can't help those who won't help themselves. But please give us the ability to reach out and the courage and the confidence that we can reach out, because we indeed do have your truth on our side. And I ask that you will help us, bless us to be able to get that truth out there. So please, Lord, take care of all of us until we meet again. And I ask all of this humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ, my Savior, our Savior. Amen.
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 Amen. Thanks.
Thank you,
I
guys.
love you, kids. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here, Sam. Love you, buddy. Look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you again soon and giving you a real
Big
hug.
hug. And if you see
A real
Ann, give
hug.
her a hug for me, okay, Sam? Give
Okay.
Ann a hug for me,
Will do.
okay?
All
Love
right,
yous.
kids. Get
Have
out
a
there,
blessed
change
day.
the world, starting with your own. Woody crew.
Hooty crew. Hooty hoo.
All right. Love ya.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love.